On September 2nd, 1992, a powerful earthquake struck off the Pacific coast of Nicaragua, triggering a devastating tsunami that caught the nation by surprise. The disaster caused widespread destruction along Nicaragua's coastline, leaving hundreds dead or injured and displacing thousands of people. The event, which became known as the 1992 Nicaragua Tsunami, highlighted the vulnerability of coastal communities to seismic and tsunami hazards and underscored the need for improved early warning systems. This narrative explores the events leading up to the tsunami, the impact on the affected communities, and the lessons learned from this tragic disaster.
The tsunami was triggered by a magnitude 7.7 earthquake that occurred at 6:16 p.m. Local time, approximately 120 kilometers, about 75 miles, off the coast of Nicaragua. The earthquake originated in the subduction zone where the Cocos Plate is forced beneath the Caribbean Plate, a region known for seismic activity. Despite its strength, the earthquake was unusual in that it caused relatively little ground shaking on land. This lack of significant shaking, combined with its offshore location, meant that many people along the coast were unaware of the impending danger.
So about 20 minutes after the earthquake, the first waves of the tsunami began to reach the Nicaraguan coast. But without an effective early warning system in place, residents had no time to evacuate to higher ground, while the waves, some as high as 10 meters over 30 feet, struck with devastating force, sweeping away homes, boats, and vehicles. The entire communities were inundated, and those living in low-lying coastal areas had little chance to escape the onrushing water. The hardest-hit areas included the communities of Masacapa, Caceres, and El Transito, where many homes and buildings were completely destroyed. In these regions, the tsunami not only claimed lives but also caused extensive damage to infrastructure, leaving roads impassable and cutting off access to aid and emergency services. In total, the tsunami affected more than 40 kilometers, about 25 miles of coastline.
The human toll of the tsunami was significant. At least 170 people were killed, and hundreds more were injured. Thousands were left homeless, forced to seek shelter in makeshift camps or with relatives further inland. The loss of life and property was devastating for the small, tight-knit coastal communities, many of which relied on fishing and tourism for their livelihoods. In addition to the human impact, the tsunami caused severe environmental damage. Coastal ecosystems, including mangrove forests and coral reefs, were damaged or destroyed by the powerful waves. The surge of salt water inland also contaminated freshwater supplies and agricultural land, compounding the disaster's long-term effects on the region's food security and water quality.
In the immediate aftermath of the tsunami, local authorities, the Nicaraguan government, and international aid organizations mobilized to provide emergency assistance to the affected communities. Rescue teams worked tirelessly to search for survivors and recover the bodies of those who had been swept away by the waves. So makeshift shelters were established to house the displaced, and efforts were made to provide food, clean water, and medical care to those in need. However, the response was hampered by the widespread destruction of roads and communication infrastructure. Many communities were initially cut off from outside assistance, forcing residents to rely on their own resources and the help of neighboring villages. The disaster also exposed the limitations of Nicaragua's emergency preparedness and response capabilities, highlighting the need for improved disaster management systems and infrastructure.
One of the most significant lessons from the 1992 Nicaragua Tsunami was the critical importance of early warning systems. The lack of such a system meant that residents had no warning of the approaching waves and were unable to take measures to protect themselves. In the years following the disaster, efforts were made to improve tsunami detection and warning capabilities in the region. Pacific Tsunami Warning Center (TWC) and other international organizations have since worked with Central American countries to establish a more robust network of seismic and sea level monitoring stations. These systems are designed to detect earthquakes and tsunamis in real time and issue alerts to potentially affected areas, giving people more time to evacuate and reducing the risk of loss of life.
The 1992 Nicaragua tsunami was a wake-up call for the region, underscoring the need for better preparedness and resilience against natural disasters. Since then, significant progress has been made in improving early warning systems and disaster response capabilities. Coastal communities have been educated about the risks of tsunamis and the importance of evacuating to higher ground when they feel an earthquake or receive a warning. Despite these improvements, challenges remain. Many coastal areas in Nicaragua and other Central American countries are still vulnerable to tsunamis and other natural hazards due to limited resources, infrastructure, and public awareness. Ongoing efforts to build resilience, including community education, infrastructure improvements, and international cooperation, are essential to ensuring that future generations are better protected against such disasters.
The legacy of the 1992 Nicaragua tsunami is one of tragedy and resilience. For those who lived through the disaster, the memories of that fateful evening remain vivid, a reminder of the power of nature and the fragility of human life. The tsunami also serves as a powerful example of the need for proactive disaster management and preparedness, especially in vulnerable coastal regions. The improvements in early warning systems and disaster response that followed the tsunami have undoubtedly saved lives in subsequent events. However, the ongoing vulnerability of many communities to similar disasters highlights the need for continued investment in preparedness and resilience. The story of the 1992 Nicaragua tsunami is a sobering reminder that while we cannot prevent natural disasters, we can and must be better prepared to face them.
The 1992 Nicaragua tsunami was a wake-up call for the region, underscoring the need for better preparedness and resilience against natural disasters. Since then, significant progress has been made in improving early warning systems and disaster response capabilities. Coastal communities have been educated about the risks of tsunamis and the importance of evacuating to higher ground when they feel an earthquake or receive a warning.